William Edward Burgard Dubois, later known as W.E.B. Du Bois, was born in Great Barrington on February 23, 1868. As a young man, Du Bois received Fisk University, the first African-American PhD from Harvard in 1895.
About W.E.B. Du Bois. When he went to Harvard, they wouldn't accept his 4-year Fisk degree. Du Bois also faced the problem of not being allowed to stay on the Harvard campus after 6 p.m. So if you put it in context historically, it was a great feat.
While teaching at Atlanta University, Du Bois produced a number of academic works, including The Philadelphia Negro in 1899, the first case study of a Black community in the United States.
Du Bois went into these blighted areas. He found a population that had terrible health issues, a lot of social ills such as poverty, high infant mortality, prostitution. He didn't entirely excuse the African American population, but he was very forceful about pointing out racism as a reason for a lot of these ills.
Both Du Bois and Booker T. Washington emerged as advocates of their race. However, as an alternative voice to Washington's book, Up from Slavery, Du Bois published The Souls of Black Folk in 1903.
It was an absolutely unique book. It contains poetry, autobiographical sketches, historical articles, memoir, a wide-ranging representation of the diversity of Black experience.
In 1905, Du Bois founded the Niagara Movement, opposing Booker T. Washington's racial accommodation theory. The organization became the forerunner of the NAACP, and years later, Du Bois was appointed editor of the NAACP magazine, The Crisis.
Du Bois wanted The Crisis to have two main components: protest on the one hand and uplift on the other. At the same time that he was protesting lynching and race riots, he was building a consciousness.
While continuing his work for civil rights, Du Bois published his first novel, The Quest of the Silver Fleece, in 1911. 4 years later, he published The Negro, the first general history of Black Africans.
He was one of the early scholars who felt like you could not understand the status and condition of Blacks in the United States unless you came to terms with the status and condition of Africa.
In 1920, Du Bois published the first of his 3 autobiographies, entitled Dark Water, Voices from Within the Veil. And in 1935, Du Bois published his magnum opus, Black Reconstruction in America.
with his 3 autobiographies, and in a sense you could say his body of work, Du Bois gave us a document of what it was like to be Black in the American century.
While becoming more influenced by communism, Du Bois made a losing bid for the New York State Senate at the age of 82. By 1961, Du Bois joined the Communist Party and moved to Ghana, where he died on August 27, 1963.
W.E.B. Du Bois can be deemed arguably the most profound African-American intellectual of his generation. His ideas are still highly relevant for the present generation of scholars.
Hi everybody. So, how's everybody feeling? Great. Y'all like that video? Beautiful, right? We really love him and appreciate him. That's why we named our school after him. Okay. So to be saying lift every voice and sing, we will be having one more.
May everybody please rise as we sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift every voice and sing to earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing bright as the listening sky.
Let us resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.
A new day begun.
Let us march on till victory is won.
No. Harmonies.
Yeah, I heard those riffs and the rhymes. But good evening, everybody. How y'all feeling tonight?
Great.
I don't believe y'all. I ain't heard enough of y'all. It's a beautiful Friday night. A beautiful day to celebrate. I woke up, yeah. But It's a beautiful Friday night.
Saturday!
I'm playing. I did it on purpose that time. Yeah. But it's a beautiful Saturday night, and it's a beautiful group of people to celebrate it with. So I'm gonna ask y'all one more time. How y'all feeling tonight?
Great.
That's good. See, now I feel comfortable introducing myself. Welcome to the 5th annual celebration of W.E.B. Du Bois Day. The Artists United Art Care Academy and Kip Du Bois Alliance to the Alliance salutes the life and mission of the late W.E.B. Du Bois. Our mission is to promote school, spirit, and culture, recognizing the elite leaders in education, culture, and arts. Our objective is to advocate and educate through arts, education, and culture. The Artists United Art Care Academy and Kip Du Bois Alliance to the Alliance presents the 5th annual W.E.B. Du Bois Day event. Our organization salutes the life and mission of the late W.E.B. Du Bois. He dedicated his life to educating the community. In his honor, on his birthday, we acknowledge the leaders in our community that make a difference in the lives of others through arts, culture, and education. This year's honorees include Shirley Ralph, Charlie Mack, Dr. Charles Blockson, Patricia Aiden, Senator Cherie Street, and Marlon Viu. The event will consist of guest speakers, enlightening performances, and presentations from our Alliance of the Alliance. Without further ado, up next we have Rudy Simpson with his speech called The 3 Principles to Infinite Development. Let's give him a hand.
I believe in God, who made one blood all nations that on earth do dwell. I believe that all men, black and brown and white, are brothers, varying through time and opportunity, in form and gift and future, but differing in no essential particular, and alike in soul and the possibility of infinite development. W.B. Du Bois. Today is a wonderful day to be thankful. And if we are meant to see tomorrow, that too shall be a wonderful day as well. Simply because every day is a second chance to develop. Thanks, God, for the mic. Despite our shortcomings, our frustrations, our disagreements, and sometimes our lack of understanding. Growing up, I always wanted to be good at something, but there was too many things to choose from. I wanted to be everything I saw in a movie or on television. I was 9 years old doing Power Ranger kicks on my brothers. I even sung the song, Luther Vandross, I believe it was, that my mom loved, to a young lady I had a crush on in middle school. It didn't work, fellas, it didn't work. All to learn that what I wanted to be was not what I needed to be. Our wants in life are going to change as we get older. Today, on this day, Saturday, February 23rd, 2019, W.E.B. Du Bois' birthday. What I want is for all of what we need for ourselves. So I'd like to share with you 3 principles that I live by to know. The first one is value. Know your value. Know if you're beautiful, know if you're handsome. Know your health. Health is wealth, right? Have a yes attitude. Be positive at all times. Doing this, you will bring value to others. Number 2, expertise. Master something. Master one thing. Doing this will provide you a work ethic. The work ethic that you'll need. Once you receive this work ethic, it will bring you credibility. Having credibility will provide you the opportunity, the essentials, as well as the success. And last but not least, the third principle is guarantees. Growing up, our parents, our loved ones, our spouses, they trust that when you leave home, you will make it back safely, right? All right, brother? So, when I say guarantees, your character is the most important thing that you will have to leave when you leave here today. Having how can I put this? I don't want to use the word perfect, so I'll say a sound character will get you anything you want in life. Having guarantees, you will be able to join that corporation or join that relationship. Hey, you know what? I know that Jonathan will do what he says he'll do. I know that Samantha will increase our revenue 50% this month. Being able to provide these guarantees will not only bring you the success that you need, but will make you one of the most powerful leaders that you need to be in this world. So with all that being said, having value, expertise, and guarantees, I know that leaving here today, our youth, as well as the elders and our adults, will go out here in the world that we need to walk in tomorrow. Thank you.
Rudy, before you sit down, on behalf of, we wanted to award you the W.E.B. Du Bois Day Youth Leadership Award. So let's give it up for them, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Esma Shakar, and I'm up here to give a speech. Why is it important to preserve our culture? As early as childhood, we're often told about the sacrifices made by our ancestors that gave us the opportunities that were not provided, from our victories as well as our hardships. These stories have been passed along through hundreds of years. Protecting our culture is essential in protecting our community. It is essential in maintaining our sense of identity and not allowing others to forge our paths for us. It's essential in keeping our originality and not letting others take the credit for trends that we start. It's essential in protecting our people and refusing to let others disrespect who we are. But how can we expect others to understand and respect our culture if we don't do the same? Lack of awareness and simply not caring is dangerous because it would leave the next generation completely oblivious to what came before them. And then culture dies out and is gone forever. It's our duty to become students of our history as well as teaching others along the way. But what is that exactly? In these times, especially the youth, accomplish this goal. It's having conversations with family members and others who have stories to pass on. It's studying and documenting artworks, artifacts, and archives. It's preserving and restoring historic relics that are significant to us. It's revisiting historic markers in our city and going to places like the African American Museum and Bloxton Institute. Our past is our future. We won't know where we are going if we don't understand where we came from. That is why it's important to preserve our culture. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zayd Brown. How everybody doing tonight? Great. No, I mean it, literally. Like, what is everybody doing as of today? Because that's what matters. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, because we want to make a better tomorrow and make up for yesterday. We don't care about what's going on in the future or in the past. We want to know what you're doing today to make a better future for everybody. It is today that we fit ourselves for the greater usefulness of tomorrow. Today is the seed time, now are the hours, and tomorrow comes the harvest of our playtime. And with further ado, I'm just going to give out the first honoree of tonight. He's a Black scholar, and he has amassed one of the world's largest private collections of African American history, traveling intensively around the world, acquiring rare African American, and African Caribbean publications dating back to the 16th century, in addition to other materials. In 1984, he donated these amazing items to Temple University, where he serves as a curator of the Charles L. Bloxton Afro-American collection. That includes prints, photographs, slave narratives, manuscripts, letters, and sheet music, as well as other objects. He has served as Director in Pennsylvania Black History Committee, Director of the Pennsylvania Afro-American History Board, and Governor's Commissioner of the Governor's Heritage Program, as well as being a member of the NAACP and the Urban League. Dr. Blockson also lectures internationally and organizes exhibitions and Black studies programs throughout the country, and is considered one of the country's leading experts on the Underground Railroad. Now, unfortunately, Dr. Blockson isn't here to accept his award, but I got the chance to meet him on his birthday and talk to him and just have a good time with him. The cake was good too. But we got a video. I had the chance to. We got a video of him accepting the award. We gonna play the video.
In honor of the name of great W.E.B. Du Bois, who was my childhood hero, along with his great friend Paul Robeson. The Du Bois is commemorating a year of his legacy. I was in Africa. I went to the place where he was buried. His legacy has been part of my history for years. Years ago, when he was a young man, he wrote a little pamphlet is called The Negroes of Farmville, Virginia. He wrote about some of my ancestors. So thank you for coming up today. 400th anniversary of our history coming up next year. What are you going to do to commemorate our ancestors? Trace your own, find out who you are, pass it on. Thank you very much for coming out today. Peace and blessings to you.
Okay. All right.
Let's give a hand for Dr. Blockson.
I will now be introducing Diamond Mitchell.
Is organizing the annual I Care to Vote tour. Our mission is to fight for the freedom of arts, culture, and education. We are looking for all individuals and organizations that can help us on the journey. We thank you for your support in advance. I Care Academy created the annual W.E.B. Du Bois Day event in 2014 in order to raise funds for the organization to fight for better education in our communities and to educate the youth and Philadelphia natives of W.E.B. Du Bois and his philosophy of the talented 10. He believed that higher education is important to the development of society. The Du Bois Day event is hosted at the African American Museum in Philadelphia and is completely planned, produced, and led by the students of I Care Academy and other alumni from the organization. Many of our scholars are current or former students of KIPP Du Bois Collegiate Academy, the only school named after W.E.B. Du Bois. With a staff of 50-plus student leaders and a growing audience of 200-plus attendees, over the past 3 years, we have honored prominent people in Philadelphia ranging from city council members, elected officials, Grammy Association board members, prominent educators, sport instructors, community leaders, and other high-ranking individuals in the entertainment industry. The event is also used to showcase the students' ability to conduct an event, present their talents, and perpetuate the I Care to Vote campaign, which raises awareness for a proper education and educate first-time voters on the rights to vote and political awareness. Again, we thank you in advance.
Now, Carlos, good evening.
Today we're presenting Shirley Ralph an award. Unfortunately, today she isn't here with us, but that's all right. Begin with art, because art tries to take us outside ourselves. It is a matter of trying to create an atmosphere and context so conversation can flow back and forth and we can be influenced by each other. But art is not simply works of art. It is the spirit that knows beauty, that has music in its soul and the color of sunsets in its handkerchiefs, that can dance on a flaming world and make the world dance too.
Our next honoree began her career on the stage. It was nominated in 1982 for a Tony Award for Best Actress in a Musical for her role as Dina Jones in Dreamgirls. In 1984, Ralph received her first album titled In the Evening, in which the title track peaked at number 6 on the Billboard chart that same year. In 1988, she had starred in a number of notable roles in movies such as Oliver and Company, The Mighty Quinn, and Mistress. She also starred in notable television shows like The Flintstones, Unconditional Love, and It's Olivia. She was voted one of TV's most favorite moms for her portrayal of stepmom Dee Mitchell on the #1 rated television series Moesha. In 1990, she founded the Diva Foundation, which fights HIV stigma and raises awareness of the virus, notably for African American women. She also provided Diva Simply Singing, which has become an important AIDS fundraiser, recognized for her role in fighting the AIDS epidemic. Shirley Ralph was an honoree at the 15th McDonald's 365 Black Awards, awarded for making a difference in the African American community.
Hello, everybody. This is Cheryl Lee Ralph, and I want to thank you so much for honoring me this W.E.B. Dubois Day with your W.E.B. Dubois Award. I want to thank all of the children at Eye Care Academy, especially those who are doing their work and studying to join the Talented 10th. If you know, I know you. Thank you all very much. I'm sorry I can't be there, but it's award season here in Hollywood, and I had to participate in. Anyway, you know what I mean. So I'm sorry I can't be there with you, but I love you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you will all continue on with your education and merging the arts with it, because the arts are powerful in changing the way people think they thought. So it's up to you. The future is yours. And honey, look, if I can do it, you can do it. So I'm counting on who? You. That's right. I'm Shirley Ralph, and thank you.
So this year we're having another day of silence on August 25th, and it's to honor and honor those that have lived and died after years of slavery. I'm sorry. We have people who have already signed up for in West Africa, South Africa, and the Caribbean. We have a website, it's www. 100 years of coalition.com and go on there and click and spread the create protect what silence. We want to honor those that have died as a result of the transatlantic slave trade, because 85% of the people who died on that journey. Out of 15% left of the American descendants of the Chantel slavery, it's decreasing basically. We're dying off. We ask that you be silent for at least 1 minute of every 400 years. Make videos with the hashtag 400 years. Those willing to participate in this event and host events, there will also be another button on the website for you guys. And we have cards. I'll be passing them out. We ask that you participate, volunteer, and donate. Since 2019 marks the 400th year since the first documented arrival of African Americans who came to America. Thank you.
I really hope y'all sign up because I gave out cards, so don't act like you don't know what we're talking about, okay? I know I see y'all sitting down, but I want y'all to sign up because that means a lot to us and our ancestors who really died for us to be here and do this stuff, so it means a lot. But now I will be introducing Myrie Ford.
How everybody doing? Beautiful, beautiful. Love to see you guys' lovely faces on this Saturday. This is called biological genocide. They gave us a crow instead of a bald eagle. First came slavery, mass incarceration, the sequel. They chain our minds and bind our feet together. Put out distractions so we don't use our minds together, only climb when someone dies, we get ahead and they move the finish line together. We say they don't hear us cry, but they do. They let the tears rejuvenate their existence. I mean, everyone loves a tall glass of wine, right? There's a family on both sides of the gun. The one holding it doesn't care. Because being manly trumps all families, but when the bullets release, they lose all sanity. Like, what did I just do? What did you do? Did that question pop up before you were to shoot? It's shoot to detain, not shoot to refrain under the black body trying to find their way. We choke on the pollution of racism. We simply can't breathe. Maybe because they're using us for trees, too much carbon dioxide. Eric Gardner's call for...
It's okay. You got it.
Eric Gardner's call for respiration they recorded on the cellular. But did they look into his eyes to see the dedication to live? We are living organisms, individuals, yet we are categorized by color alleles. We can't change level superiority by looks, not brains. You make superiority complex. Due to your psychological power, due to your psychological desire for power that manifests when your ancestors stole mine from their roots, we're forced to swim in your gene pool, forced to bury your genocide, watch you kill our fathers without being charged with regicide. Who made it your decision to march to our sweet land with greed and precision? They say you can know how old a tree is by counting its rings. Well, how many rings does it take for us to get to freedom?
I'm back. I'm Christina.
And I'm Deonis. And we're presenting the award to Patricia Aiden. There is in this world no such force as the force of a person determined to rise. But what of a black woman, I most sincerely doubt if any other race of woman could have brought its finesse of through so devilish a fire. There is no force equal to a woman that is determined to rise.
Our next honoree has over 2 decades of experience as a senior executive in nonprofit management. She began her career in Washington, D.C., where she served as the executive director of the D.C. Preservation, as well as other positions. Patricia Aiden is the president and CEO of the museum in Philadelphia. Prior to joining WANP, she led local, regional, and national nonprofit organizations, including positions as the executive director of the Rhythm and Blues Foundation, director of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Office of the National Trust for Historic Preservation, and president of the Preservation Alliance Cultural Alliance, the Pennsylvania Humanities Council, the Pennsylvania Abolition Society, and the Smithsonian Affiliates Advisory Council. She has served as a panelist for the National Endowment for the Arts and other national and state level granting agencies, and was awarded an honorary doctorate from Davis and Elkins College in West Virginia. Hi, Patricia.
This is beautiful and impressive. I am so pleased and honored to be here. I've watched this celebration grow. This is the 5th year we've been here at the African American Museum, and they're giving me something else too. And each year it gets a little better because you all get a little better. You are committed to this celebration. And I'm so proud of all of the students that are engaged in this celebration. Now, I participate in a lot of events over the course of the year. But what I'm hearing tonight is something that I really want to point out. I'm hearing a call to activism. And it is so appropriate in these days and times, but it's also appropriate because you're in this building. The African American Museum in Philadelphia is dedicated to bringing diverse audiences together in celebration and appreciation of the Black experience. And that's just what you're doing here tonight. So there's no better place for you to have this event than in this museum. This museum is your museum. And I want you all to know that we expect to see you on days other than just today. We have exhibits, we have programs, we have activities for the young, for the old, for everyone in your family. And I don't want to hear any of you say, there's nothing going on at the African American Museum that I can relate to. Because if you look at our calendar of events, you're gonna find that touch point. You're gonna find that point of relevance to your life. And I don't want to hear any of you say, well, I can't go because I can't afford it, because we make sure you can afford it. We make sure that on Macy's Family Fun Days, you get in free. We make sure if you have a stamp pass, you get in free. So all of you out there who talk about the African American Museum being a resource, I want you to know that we're just that. We are your museum. Now, we are celebrating Du Bois Day, and we're also acknowledging that this year is the 400th year that Africans touched the soil in what is now America. It's been a long 400 years, and a lot has happened. And it's only appropriate for us to recognize the milestones, because it says something about us as a people, that over the course of the challenges and the hardships that we've encountered, we're still here. We're not only here, we're thriving. Okay. And we're talking about how to push things forward. We're talking about activism. We're talking about making a difference. And that's just what Dr. Du Bois was about as well. He recognized that the Philadelphia Negro is a special sort of Negro, if you all are familiar with his writings. And you all are part of that legacy. So thank you again for being here at the African American Museum. I expect to see you not only next year at this celebration, but I expect to see you again and again and again here at our exhibits and our programs throughout the year. Thank you.
Good evening again. I want to share some really important information with you all this evening. So August of this year will mark 400 years since the first documented arrival of Africans who came to America by way of Point Comfort, Virginia. The 400 Years Coalition will plan programs and activities in Philadelphia and its metropolitan areas to recognize the arrival and influence of Africans and their descendants had in America since 1619. The coalition will be charged with highlighting the resilience and contributions of African Americans, as well as acknowledging the painful impact and other slavery and other atrocities had on our nation. The 400-year history of African Americans and full of tradition that have shaped the Black experience in America and should be remembered as moral catastrophes. African Americans have contributed to the economic, academic, social culture, and moral well-being of this nation. The 400-year coalition will tell this story throughout 2019. We will be having events every week in 2019 commemorating our struggle. As we contemplate the challenges and injustices that African Americans still face to this day, we remember the tragic way in which African American history began and draw inspiration from the heroes and trailblazers who fought under our country's principle that all people are created equal. These heroes and trailblazers, along with Americans, who have worked, created, invented, discovered, lived, and died over the past 400 years, have molded our national character such that the United States would be unrecognizable without our presence. Personally, I have seen this firsthand. Eye Care Academy, which is a sub-company to AOTL, have latched on to the 400-year coalition, and we have partaked in many different events that have partaken this year that we will be partaking in throughout the year. So as said earlier in the evening, the Day of Silence that will be happening in April will be one of the many events that we will be participating in throughout 2019 for the 400-year coalition. So I invite you all, if you are interested in partaking in this history, to please come out and support us if you can. This is a very important year for us, especially for Black and brown people. So if you can, thank you so much.